I helped this guy go from making $2,000 a month to $8,000 a month with his fitness coaching business in under 90 days. And this was all possible without doing any cold outreach, running any paid ads or a big team, because what we focused on instead was building a business with high profit margins, building a trusted brand that attracted the right audience, and growing with more predictability, which is super important in 2026. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how we scaled Sam's business to consistent $8,000 a month. But first, a little bit more about myself, for those who don't know. So I started my agency helping online fitness coaches scale last year, and this was after I shut down a 5-figure business. And now, 12 months later, I'm able to travel the world to meet my amazing clients in person. And I've built a business that I am genuinely proud of. A dream business, basically. And here are just some of the pictures from my journey here. But this video is not about me, it's about Sam. So let's start by talking about Sam 3 to 4 months ago. So at this point he was making around $2,500 per month. He had 2,900 followers on his Instagram, and he was working with broke, low committed clients that didn't really respect him, and he was spending all his time on client work, and he was only relying on a DM funnel. But this is Sam now, 3 to 4 months later. So he's making $8,000 a month consistently. Remember that. He had 4,600 followers on his Instagram, and he has built a business he feels proud of and is working with his dream clients. And that is the type of business you want. And here's exactly how we did it. So first of all, we changed his positioning. We helped him build real trust, and we built his entire content system, and we helped him hire the right people. So these was like the 4 main things that we implemented and changed in Sam's coaching business to help him scale. Of course, there was much more, but these were the 4 things that made the biggest change. So let's start by talking about the first point here, which was changing his positioning. So before we started working together, he was only working with broke university students that didn't respect him. So what we firstly did was fixing up his ICP. And if you don't know what ICP means, that basically means your ideal client profile, your target audience, the person you want to work with. So we went from helping skinny students to now helping hardworking tradies who's overweight and trying to lose fat and build muscle. And when we created Sam's ICP, we wanted to make sure that he was super clear on it. Because if you're not clear on the exact person you want to attract, it's going to be super hard for you to create good content that actually sells and attract the right audience. So what we did to make this even clearer was that we sent this document to him where we asked a few questions about his ideal client. For example, about their pains, goals, struggles, desires, and where they wanted to get. Because in that way, he got extremely clear on the person he wanted to attract with his personal brand and the person he wanted to work with. So that was the first thing that we changed. And I would say if you're not clear on this as a business owner, it's going to be really hard for you to scale to the next level and reach the bigger numbers. So you need to have this dialed in. It doesn't matter what niche you're in, you just need to have that dialed in. And then we had the second point, which was helping him build real trust. And this is something 99% of coaches are struggling with. And it's not weird because the all-time trust is at an all-time low right now. So it's harder than ever to make someone trust you and make someone actually buy from you and invest thousands. And the way Sam was building trust before he came to me was by simply just posting before and after and testimonial pictures on his Instagram story. And that's what most people do. But I'm going to be really honest with you. People don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. What people actually care about is the story, the actual journey behind each of your clients. So let's start by talking about what we did when it comes to his Instagram stories. So instead of just talking a little bit about the outcome, posting a before and after picture, we started to tell real stories because that's what people care about and that's what people can really connect to. So now whenever he's posting about a client on a story, he's always talking about their biggest pain points, how their life looked like before, what not being in shape held them back from actually doing, and their situation back then because that's what people can connect to, and then of course also about the outcome. But we're always putting more effort into the actual before transformation, because that's what people can connect with. It's super hard for someone who has never been in shape to relate to the version of the client who is like absolutely ripped. Like, it's impossible. The only thing that they can relate to and connect to is the before transformation. So that's what we are focusing on now. But not just that, we are taking it to a further level. We are doing client interview videos, we're doing client breakdowns, and we're documenting their journeys. It is insanely important as well, and most people don't do this. But these client interview videos, as you can see here on the left, are really good. He did it with 2 of his clients, he had 2 more upcoming. So the trust that he's actually building is insanely high. And the reason to why I tell all of my clients to do these videos here, we of course give the framework, is because first of all, they are super real, they are authentic, and you can use them for so many things. You can use them in the DM. So let's say that you're speaking to a prospect who have a specific problem, and you know that the client you did a client interview with had the exact same problem back then. Then you can just send that video over to them and tell them to watch it. And when you're watching it, you're automatically building more trust. You can also use this in your pre-booking pages. And to nurture people, you can also turn those long form videos into short form content, so they are insanely effective. And then we're also doing client breakdowns, and where we basically break down how we were able to transform a client and get them to where he is today. Exactly like this video here that you're watching right now. So that was the second thing. Then we have the third point here, which was building out his entire content system. And this is like a huge point. Of course, there was much more than this, but these are just like the most important things that we implemented that he was struggling with before. And the funny part is that before we started working together, like, Sam knew how to go viral. Like, he was getting millions of views on his videos, but he was attracting the wrong audience. So we had to make a change, and he wasn't standing out. He looked the same as everyone else out there. So the first thing we did was making him understand more about his own story, beliefs, and unique method, his unique way of helping people and doing things. And if you don't understand these 3 things and how to use them in your content, you will never be able to stand out, and it's going to be really hard for you to grow a personal brand that actually sells. So that was the first thing we did, and this is something we are refining and coming up with, like, in the early stages when someone gets on board with us. And we also added long form YouTube content, because before he was only relying on his Instagram account. He was only posting short form videos, and posting on YouTube is really important in 2026. And the reason is because all-time trust is at an all-time low, as I said before, and people have to spend so much more time with you before they actually trust you and can buy into you as a person. And YouTube is by far one of the only platforms that actually allows you to really do that. Plus, Google did a research on this, and they came to the conclusion that people have to spend over 7 hours watching your content before they're ready to buy. And it's really hard to build up all those hours just from simple Instagram reels. That's why you need a YouTube long form content. And on YouTube, he's focusing on posting proof content like client breakdowns, client interviews, etc. And not just that, another way of doing good proof content is also just by recording a call with a client when you're like breaking down or solving a specific problem that they have. Or if you meet them up in person, do a breakdown with them, like you sit there besides each other and go over a specific problem that you're struggling with and you're recording it. That is some great YouTube content. That's how you document their journey. And then we also focused on posting belief shifting content in like an educational format. And when I say belief shifting, we focused on removing limiting beliefs and handling objections. And we are creating content around problems that his audience is really struggling with. And the way that we come up with the ideas for the belief shifting content, and the way we find all the objections and limiting beliefs, is by sending, first of all, a feedback form to all the new clients that's getting on board. That's like a part of his onboarding. What I mean by feedback form, that's basically a form where he asks questions such as why they chose him instead of someone else, was their biggest objections before they joined, biggest misconceptions, and biggest limiting beliefs. And then we are also recording all the sales calls, because from those two things alone, you will get to know everything. You will get to know all the biggest problems your audience has, and their biggest objections, and why they actually choose you. So then you can create content around that. It's pretty simple. So 2 styles in total: proof and educational content on his YouTube. So that was the 3rd step. And if we move down here, we had the last one, which was hiring. So before we started working together, he was doing everything himself. He was handling all the DMs, editing videos, like literally every single area of his business. And he was working for the 12-hour days. And he tried to like literally handle it all. But as a business owner, you can't do it all by yourself, especially if you want to reach the bigger numbers. So I would say if you're getting like tons of traffic, if you are making like 3K plus per month, you should start like hiring a team member. It can be as simple as a video editor or an appointment setter, because what we did for Sam was hiring a commission-based appointment setter. And if you don't know what an appointment setter is, it's basically someone that is handling all your Instagram DMs and is booking all the calls for you, so you don't have to do that yourself. So Sam instead could focus on what really mattered. And then the setter is also tracking all this data, so we can scale with more predictability. So that was all the 4 steps, or the 4 main things that we implemented into Sam's business to help him scale to the 8K months. And if you want to hear it directly from Sam and see exactly how we did it, even more in depth, I have recorded this client interview video with him. It is linked below this video, so make sure to check it out. And if you're looking to scale your coaching business as well, there's also a link below where you can book a free business audit with me. But if you're not interested, I still hope you got some great value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.